Is something that I used to do in one of my first restaurants in Minnesota. This incredible state that has given my family, myself, a lot of the employees, a lot of friendships, a lot of great food, and a good life. It is challenging now, but hey, we will be better, if not fatter, when this is all said and done. I was talking to one of an employee today who was making bread, and he was using just the starter dough, and without any yeast, and he was saying that it takes a long time, but it's so much better. And it reminded me of something that my grandma used to say. Because, you know, making bread, it's like going to bed. The longer you sleep, the better you are when you are awake. And nobody puts you better to sleep more than your mother. So get it? Mother dough puts you to sleep. You wake up because you've been asleep for a while. That's what happens to bread. This is not about bread though, but I just thought I would share that with you. Second thing that I will share with you, my wonderful wife is making her famous matzo ball soup, and she's vegetarian, and we needed to improvise and make some stock. And it just occurred to me that what a great thing to do right now. There's nothing that smells better and then gives the house this awesome warm feeling. It reminds me of my mom, it reminds me of my grandma. That stock that's cooking and cooking. So traditionally, a stock, celery, carrot, and onion. And the reason you do celery, carrot, and onion is you want fragrance, you want aroma, you want color. The carrot gives it color, the onion gives it taste, and the celery gives it that wonderful fragrance, or vice versa, you know. But you don't have to stick with those things. And we're making some stock right now, and right here we have carrots, we have fennel, and we have onion. So there are two schools of thought. Both are actually correct. 2 plus 2 equals 4. The same way 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 4. The same way 3 plus 1 equals 4. You get my point. So there is a school of thought where you just take your vegetables and put them in water, hot water, and just without any salt, without any pepper, which I firmly believe in, without any herbs, and have what almost like a consomme, very pure stock. There's another school of thought where you take those vegetables, add some herbs to them, and roast them in the oven, and then bring them to a boil. You can do it any way you want, but if you want that stock to have a lot of diversity, you want to keep it as simple and as beautiful and as clean as you possibly can, because then you can use it in your risotto, you can use it in your pasta, you can use it in fish, you can use it in meat. But the more complex, the more limited you are in doing your stock. But this is not about stock, it's not about mother dough, it's not about bread, it's about chicken. And one of the things that we did, we used to call them lollipops. And the reason we call them lollipops is because these are organic drummies with the skin on, is that we would sort of cut them. Boy, staff hated making these. They really did, because it was really a laborious and tedious process. So you have to take the skin off, you know, and you gotta sort of keep cutting it and cutting it and cutting it until all this skin is taken out, and you pull the meat. You see how I'm pulling the meat? Almost, look at that. I'm pulling the meat. I'm gonna take my skin out, and I'm pulling it, and I would make them really be perfect. I didn't want any membrane, no cartilage. I want everything beautifully clean. And I would have them do it. So it's a lollipop. You know, I don't know how I came up with that fucking name. Excuse me, sorry. If you have kids at home, don't say that word until you are a chef. It sounds better then. So you have this beautiful lollipop, and it's fun, it's simple, So once you have your little, and we would make them stand like this on a plate after we cook them, of course. But the trick is, and we made this really great marinade of spices. So listen to me carefully. Let's say you're making 10 drummies. You'll need a cup of olive oil, a teaspoon of garlic, a tablespoon of paprika, a tablespoon of cumin, a hint of cayenne. And when I say a hint, it depends on how spicy do you like it, correct? A hint of saffron, optional, a teaspoon of turmeric, a tablespoon of salt, a tablespoon of black pepper, a teaspoon of lemon juice. This is what your paste is gonna have in it. This is the classic original recipe. Every single person that has worked at that original restaurant has a twist on it. It's fucking wrong. This is the original right one. Sorry, my wife is making faces. Don't make faces. Okay? You know, so you do it, and then you sort of marinate it like that. You drench it like that. And you let it sit overnight in the refrigerator. The idea here is so all of that stuff, so the meat, the acidity in there helps cure the meat. And as the meat is curing, it's absorbing a lot of that great, wonderful flavor. That's what you do. So now we've let it soak overnight. We took them and we put them in the oven at 425 degrees. And it's around 30 to 40 minutes. You just want to make sure that the internal temperature of the meat is 165 or higher. There's nothing worse than eating raw chicken, and there's nothing better than eating perfectly cooked chicken. Here's the deal about this. We took the skin out. We're not going to fry it, and yet it's going to have all the frying flavor and all of the fat that we normally would have because of the chicken in it. And without the frying and without the skin, without the added calories. And this is not about calories, it's about really great flavor. And if you kept the skin on, what happens is that the flavors don't get absorbed into the meat. So that's why we take the skin out. But we compensate that by adding a little bit of that olive oil fat and all those flavors. What this is being served with is really simple. So you can do this two ways. You can have blue cheese and buttermilk and add garlic and add all that stuff, or you can get some roquefort or gorgonzola, which has everything you want and need in it, and just do a ratio of 1-to-1 buttermilk to blue cheese. And I'm using crumbled gorgonzola. I'm going to do that here. I have my measurements. Don't worry about it. And I'm going to show you the trick. What's going to make this really beautiful once you blend it is a touch of honey in there. It really helps the blue cheese and the buttermilk stay together, but it also takes some of the acidity out and makes it nice and smooth. It's not that noisy. I'm going to mix it nicely and pulse it a little bit so anything that's stuck on the bottom gets out there. And that's why I crumble it, because it makes it easier to mix. So how thick do you want it to be? I want it sort of almost like, I like it almost like a milkshake as opposed to a smoothie texture. And but that also depends on you. Some people like it very thick. I like it just enough where that creaminess does not overpower the spices that I have on my tulips. So my tulips have been in the oven. They are ready to go and they're ready to come out. So this is a really, really, really awesome dish because it's so simple, it's fun, and you can have really twists to it. And you'll see what's happening in here, which is what I call food magic. You can see it crusty. And let me get my tongs, Mademoiselle Fima. I know you don't mind me burning my hands, but these hands do a lot of good stuff. And you'll see I have a little tulip. See that? That's really that simple. You serve it with the blue cheese sauce. I like for the tulips to be hot, but I don't like them to be too hot. Otherwise it breaks down the blue cheese. So a little bit, I would say 15, 20 degrees warmer than room temperature. One of the easiest, one of the most fun dishes you can make. And here's the deal. If you want to switch this, if you want to add different ingredients to it, go ahead. You know, whatever floats your boat. I mean, this is like making love. Whatever makes you happy, do it. The way you do it is nobody's business. If you are eating it and enjoying it, to me, ultimately, that's the ultimate goal. But this is the original. This is how we make it. I hope you make it at home. I hope you enjoy it. And I hope you keep supporting your local restaurants and your local chefs and your local hospitality. Bon appetit. Are you dancing around me, honey?